Chris, they ought to start the year, as long as Billy Napier's the coach, on a bye. I think if we can start the year on a bye, the Gators can win some football games. What say you, my friend? Good morning.
I said on my show yesterday morning, man, I said, what if I told you that the best resume building win was also the biggest indictment of what the issues are? And
that's me.
Inability to get the season started. I went back and looked since the beginning of 2022. Like, if you take out the FCS wins in games before October, he's 5-9. So I don't know why you can't start the way that they seem to get going after about a month into the season, but that was what we were all expecting. We were all looking forward to seeing a defense that was locking people down, an offense that was explosive, running Jaden Ball. Like, all of these things were what we had hoped, and now, unfortunately, the season seems like it's pretty much lost, and you're starting to play finally.
Yeah. I would suggest that the three, not in a row, but the three on the schedule being A&M, a trip out there, a trip to Ole Miss, and Georgia in Jacksonville is a tougher three than the three they just went through, which was LSU, Miami, and Texas at home. I just think because now here we are halfway through when polls really matter, and I got two of those boys in the top 5, and Georgia being Georgia. So, I mean, that's good luck with that, by the way.
It is interesting because we talked about the defining stretch of the season before the year being that Miami, LSU, Texas A&M run. But now more than ever, I don't think you really know who teams are until you get maybe a month into the season. And you're right, the stretch looks much more intimidating with what Florida has on deck. I also think a lot of what you saw was a look at really what Texas is instead of what we thought they would be. I mean, they lost 3 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back from last year's offense. And, everybody wants to talk about Arch Manning, but there's a lot more issues going on there in Austin than just Arch Manning problems.
That O-line did not look good for Texas the other night, boy. And they can't run the ball. They're not a playoff team. It doesn't look like it. Chris, DJ Lagway looked like a guy who came. I don't understand. I'm at a loss. I mean, I don't understand how you look. You do what you did for 3 weeks, and then you get a bye week and a spark in your eyes.
Spark, you had a spark, Chris.
Help me.
Spark.
Yeah, well, that was one other thing I said. Where's that sparkle back in August?
I need that sparkle.
That's what we need is the sparkle in August. But I do think it was a reflection of his health, and he made a comment that a lot of people may have missed in his press conference earlier in the week. He said something about first time being able to go in good on good. And PB on our show said, man, they haven't been going good on good all year. I was like, no, they've been going good on good. He hasn't been going good on good. I think you're finally seeing him be able to be more of a full participant in practice. Whatever injury he was dealing with, seems like maybe it's gotten better because it looks like the offense that we saw, in November last year, where he's pushing the ball down the field, and certainly getting Dallas Wilson out there was a big boost offensively. I mean, that dude's a grown-ass man, but it did look like they were able to call more plays for some of those throws down the field because of whatever he was dealing with was healing up. But Jaden Ball's been out there the whole time. Now, you finally run Jaden Ball 8 times on that first drive, which is what you should have been doing all year long. And I know some Florida fans got a little upset and anxious with some of the conservative calls towards the end of the game, but I do – at least you did what we wanted you to do at the end of the South Florida game, and that's run Jaden Ball in an effort to try to milk some of the clock.
You saw it, though, and I saw it, talking about DJ Lagway and his health. I mean, early on, he's rolling right, and he looked like he got shot again. And I'm like, they're going to say, it's no big deal or whatever. I mean, the dude was limping like it was nobody's business. I mean, and it didn't seem to affect him and how he played the game, but I was just like, you got to be kidding me at that point in time. It was so I don't know what's going on with that kid.
I'm worried. You make it through the rest of the game. There's adrenaline rolling and everything else. I wondered what it was like the next day because you're right. I mean, it was very evident that the awkwardness of how he threw the ball. You could tell there was something going on. So I don't know if we've gotten an update on that yet, but that's certainly something to keep an eye on. I hope that's not back to square one again with his health.
I feel like we haven't seen like 2 or 3 weeks of a healthy DJ Lagway since he got here. It's always been something.
Question.
Whether it's from the minor to the more serious. What's going on with Tre Wilson, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I was thinking about that myself because we were walking out of the studio late on Saturday night. Benjamin said, "Man, Tre Wilson hurt?" I was like, "No, he was out there. He's playing." I mean, I don't know if it's an issue with the other guys playing better and focusing more on VB3 and Dallas Wilson now. It was nice to see J. Michael Sturdivant contribute a little bit more as well. So there's a ton of talent at the receiver spot. I don't know if he's not stepping up or if there's an issue with him, but certainly as dynamic of receiver as he was his freshman year, between the injury last year and where he is now, it doesn't seem like you're getting near the production you expected to get.
61 catches he had 2 years ago. You're right. It's unbelievable. I'll tell you another kid who's had a tough night, man. And they just propped him up, so I felt bad for him. I mean, all week I'm getting the Cormani McClain story. Yeah. And, I mean, it looked like they were just picking on him is what it looked like. And, I mean, he was getting beat. I mean, yards clear at times. It was, I'm sure a great learning experience. What I didn't like is when he was coming off the field after a stop and he sort of bumped the Texas kid. And I was like, don't do that. You're going to get a flag. But
don't do that. You're going to get a flag, but don't do that. You haven't earned the right to be out there talking a lot of trash after getting torched the way that you did. But it's, that's something to keep your eye on going forward because I was on with our friends over at TexAgs yesterday and asked about maybe some potential spots to try to attack Florida's defense. Everybody on the schedule has seen what happened there. There were some double moves. They took advantage of his aggressiveness, too. I mean, shoot, let's be honest. There were plays there that Texas could have and should have made, and if they do, it's maybe a much different ballgame with guys open in the secondary. Luckily, they missed on some. The double pass was wide open. I don't know how they didn't hit that one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, Florida's fortunate to have not given up more explosive pass plays. But I guarantee you they'll be targeting in the future Cormani McClain because of how vulnerable he looked.
Is Texas A&M the best team in the league? Chris, what do you think? Who's the best team in the SEC right now?
Yeah, my power rankings, I have Ole Miss 1, I got Alabama 2, but I got A&M 3, and I think A&M may have the highest ceiling of everybody in the league, meaning right now they're starting to figure it out. The defense is getting better and better. I mean, they've given up 1 of 23 third down attempts to Auburn and Mississippi State the last 2 games. They can rush the quarterback without having to blitz. They have an amazing pressure package that's difficult to pick up. They're figuring out their run game. They were 11th in rushing offense heading into the Auburn game a couple of weeks ago. Then they go for 209 against Auburn and 299 on Saturday against Mississippi State. So that's going to be a challenge. And then, you look at Marcel Reed, incredibly dynamic with what he does, both in his ability to throw and the read option game. Hasn't hit a ton of them. They got dangerous receivers in Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. They haven't necessarily been able to take advantage of a lot of some deep throws that are there, but it looks like it's close. So this is going to be a real challenge for Florida going into that environment, playing against a team that's getting better and better each week. And I honestly believe that we could see A&M in Atlanta for the SEC championship game coming up in December.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you on that one. And listen, we know how Billy and the fellas have done on the road. They don't have exactly a stellar record there when they hit the road. But I'll tell you what, at least you got a chance. If you win we go back and
just got to win them all. We'll be in the playoffs, boys. Yeah. I don't know what the problem is.
We do scratch our heads, Chris. We do scratch our. If you just beaten South Florida,
yeah, but they didn't. Chris summed it up. I mean, we're like the co-spirit animals on this whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right where I am on so much of this, and part of it is I can't even get to elation because frustration is still banging me in the back of the head. And you blew the whole season against South Florida. Oof. There's no getting around it, and it dumbs down what should be more exciting Saturdays, at least for me and perhaps my cynical self.
But really,
I will say this. Yeah. Let me say this though. Yeah. I give so much credit to Florida fans for showing up and making that environment, the swamp, what it was on Saturday. Like that was a big part of the win. 5 false start penalties, 1 delay of game penalties, largely, guys getting off the snap early because of the noise and being able to pressure Arch. So that despite all the frustration that you mentioned and disappointment of the start of the season, Florida fans were there and made it that environment that I had to get on PB because over in the off season he made this. He ranked the most intimidating stadiums with the biggest impact on the opposition and left Florida out of the top 5. I was like, bro, you're how many games have you been to? I hadn't even been to a game in the Swamp and ranked it there. So
Eats
he
worms.
made a formal apology on the show yesterday, which I
Good.
appreciated.
Good.
Yeah.
Yo, it's your main Manny T, and I want to personally thank you for watching Gators 1010XL channel. And before you click over, make sure you like and subscribe and check out the other team-specific channels on 1010XL's YouTube. Come on, somebody.